All right, hello, I'm the Wolf.
And I am El Pollo Loco.
Copyright, you're going to have to come up with a different name.
Oh, I am El Papa.
That'll work. God. All right, so we're here again, back at it one more time, episode 15.
Episode 15, that's a lot of episodes.
That is,
So far. Oh, we've got we're going to keep doing them, so. But 15, that's a pretty good milestone. And let's go to my notes. We're going to talk about verses. If you've been on, if you've seen our TikTok video, and did you post it on Instagram?
No, I think I forgot.
But I did post it on Facebook. This week's verses, and we've explained to you that we listen to them off camera because we don't know how to get them on here. And if you had to put two songs back to back, it would be kind of long anyway. But we listened to the old Guns N' Roses classic, Sweet Child of Mine, from back in 1987. And then there was a 2000 and something remake by Sheryl Crow that was on the soundtrack to the Adam Sandler movie
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. And I've already got my mind made up. How about you?
Initially when I heard them both a couple days ago, I didn't like the Sheryl Crow version. But I really did. It hit me, and I was like, no, I don't like this. And I do like Guns N' Roses. But just beforehand, I started to listen to it again just to refresh my memory. And this time it didn't hit me as hard as, I don't like this. I'm still more partial to Guns N' Roses, and I like it. But Sheryl Crow with an acoustic, it just sounds weird.
The old saying is that you just can't mess with the classics. And so I'm going to go with Guns N' Roses version. It's iconic. It's got a 70s vibe to it. Slash's guitar work is incredible. Axl's vocals were really good, on point there. Mm-hmm. And as far as Sheryl Crow's version goes, it was an interesting idea, I guess. Here's the thing that with covers in me is, if you're going to do a cover then you better do it one of two ways. Either you do it note for note, and I mean note for note, and that's more like a tribute, or you're going to change it up and make it your own, but your personality better come through, like the Eric Heatherly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Eric
Heatherly. He made it his own song. He changed it up, but kept true to the original, and that's why I can say that I prefer to listen to his, even though I still like the Sallers. So here, as far as this example goes, Sheryl Crow changed it, but didn't.
She added an acoustic, and that threw the sound all off.
Yeah,
it was just really.
Well, plus
weird.
She has like a mellotron, and she has like a weird bunch of instruments because she's like that. She likes exploring with weird instruments, and which fit other songs. But this one, it just didn't go.
So I initially heard it, hated it, heard it again, and it's not so bad.
So not hate. That's a strong word.
Now it's it's all right.
It's like it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, say you're driving Eagle 5. Mm-hmm. And it comes on the radio. Are you going to turn it up or change the station?
I'm not going to change the station, but I probably wouldn't turn it up too much higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and that's this week's verses, Sheryl Crow and Guns N' Roses. I've already got a new one picked out. Now, originally it was going through songs on your playlist in your phone that I knew were remakes, and you didn't. But there isn't that many.
Yeah.
So I just remembered there's like a whole boatload of covers and originals that I've already heard. So I've already got one picked out for next week.
Cool.
Let's go to I've got notes on well, you didn't see it, so I'll talk
Dark.
a lot of this. AEW Dark, episode number 43. All the enhancement talents that they were all getting their shots were just off the charts, except for this guy named Will Hobbs. Will Hobbs is kind of built like Keith Lee from NXT. He's just like a big. He's big, but he's short, stocky. He's a weird looking dude. But his match He was against Ricky Starks, and Ricky Starks is already a star. He was already a star before he got signed, and obviously he won. Ricky Starks came from the NWA because they don't know. For now, they're done. They're done till the end of the year. Billy Corgan says he won't do any empty arena shows because there's no point. And we're going to get to somebody else from NWA that ended up on AEW, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But to me, I've heard rumors say, well, he's going to fold a promotion and they're going to be done. But I think what it is he has said, you guys want to, if you agree with my vision, please stay with me. But in the meantime, if you got to go work and make money, go work and make money. Just know that you can come back. I think that's going to be the case with the next NWA star that we'll talk about. There was a new guy named Corey Hollis who went up against Kip Sabian. Dude, Corey Hollis he could make FTR a trio because he is entrenched in old school. No craziness, just beat the crap out of somebody. Another thing about Kip Sabian is, where's Jimmy Havoc?
Perhaps, I don't know. I haven't heard anything official, so I'm just guessing, speculating. He might be. I think he lives in England, so he might be there under a quarantine or something.
But he's been at AEW shows before. It's just all of a sudden he wasn't there. Maybe he tested positive and he is under quarantine, but I don't think he would jump on a plane and go back to England.
So maybe
because
it's
it's
isolated.
a 2-week quarantine.
Right. So maybe he's isolated somewhere
because
in the States.
Havoc and Sabian are the super bad death squad when they're together.
Again, that's speculation. We don't actually know what happened to Havoc.
There's also this guy, the guy with the gold boots and the beard, and he kind of looks like a skinny Jake Hager. He's called Brady Pierce.
Oh, okay.
And he's really tall. Brady Pierce is waiting to happen. He's another guy that's gonna come up, but he hasn't had any luck with any tag partners until this week, where this guy, they called him Sabby. He's Sabatino Pensacati. He's a former NFL wrestler. He was in the NFL for 6 years. They went against Best Friends. And this Sabatino guy is legit, man. He's shredded, and he's ready to go. I think just a couple more matches, and he's ready. Dark has evolved. At first, it was Tony Schiavone with the big green screen studio, so they had all these different kind of graphics and stuff, and it was called the Command Center. And Dark was only like 2 to 3 matches. One time I think they did 4. But that's all it was. It was Tony would show you a couple of the Dark matches that they filmed before the main program. His co-host was Dasha Gonzalez. And then they had like a couple of other correspondents that gave you little updates, and the other one, she would do the rankings, which I wish they'd bring that back.
To show the rankings.
But now it's evolved to where Tony's not even a part of it anymore. It starts off with Excalibur and Taz, and there's like 8 to 10 matches every week. And it's really cool. This one time, I swear, it was 12 to 15 matches. But cutting it back down to 8 is they're able to give you a little bit of story development on some of the stuff that has to do with the main roster, but they have it on Dark, and so Dark is really changed. And I like it, but I'd like to see a mashup of both. I want to see the Studio Control Center. I want the special correspondence with updates, but I want like the 6 to 8 solid matches. Make it 2 hours. I mean, hell, that's fine. Let me see. We're still talking about Dark, and like I said, everybody on there. If I could read my own writing.
You were talking about
wait.
a couple female wrestlers.
Hold on. There was. I'll get to that. Aaron Solo versus Scorpio Sky. This was another dude. Aaron Solo, SOLOW. He's another guy that is just ready to go. The enhancement talents really shined against the veterans. This was a surprise to me because I've seen her a couple of times. Roche Chanel against Sheeta.
Sheeta won.
Well, yeah, but Roche Chanel is her character. She's from the fashion capital of the world, Paris, France.
Okay.
And her gimmick is she has like a big Gucci bag, and she does this weird prancing thing that a fashion model, I guess, would do. Excuse me. Her first two outings, I don't remember. I think she went against Diamante and she went against somebody else, but it's like she didn't have any offense or any defense. She just got like ran over. But all of a sudden now against Sheeta, she could really wrestle. It was really it wasn't a squash. And Sheeta got frustrated that Roche Chanel kicked out of a couple of pins. So and that's got to do with the shifting in. They're finally going to start working on the women's division. More on that in a minute as I tried again to read my writing. Oh, okay. Wait. Who? Oh, Kylan King went against. Jeez, I can't read my writing.
I don't know, but that's the notebook I use for D&D.
I know, but it's the only notebook that was got laying around. But Kylan King also, all of a sudden, she can wrestle. Where she's had some losing. She lost. It was a 2-on-1 with her and Kenzie Page against Nyla Rose.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Kylan King's, she's a big girl. She's like 6 foot. She's a redhead. She's got the whole Irish thing going on. But all of a sudden, she can wrestle now. Really good. I don't remember who she went against. I have it on here. It was against Diamante. Okay. And that was a good bat. Darby Allin made an appearance on Dark against this guy named Robert Anthony. He's got a cape, and he's got this logo. It looks like 2 Fs. One, they face back to back. So I don't know what that's reference to. An old character he did, or maybe he was in a faction. But Robert Anthony, he's got the square jaw, he's got the old school haircut, and he's a big dude. And what happened was Darby, he was already in the ring, and then Darby Allin came. Excuse me. Darby Allin came in first, and he sat in a corner and he was staring at Taz. He was just like staring daggers at Taz, and that pissed Taz off. He started getting heated, and he wasn't paying any attention. And even after the bell rang, he sat in the corner, and Robert Anthony started yelling at him. And he's like, fight me, and he kicked Darby upside the head like twice, like boom. And before they finally got up and got into it, and again, you know that Darby's a star. This was not a squash, man. Robert Anthony really put up a good fight on him. It seems like these guys that have been there about a month or two have been feeling their way. They've got losses and stuff like that, but all of a sudden now they are primed. They're ready to go. Let's see. And then the last thing from it was it was a comedy match. It was Butcher and Blade against Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon, the librarian, with Leva Bates. But again, it wasn't a squash, which you would think so because Butcher and Blade are badasses. Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler were able to get some offense in, and they even took Butcher off his feet, double teaming, and so it was really cool. And then that's about what was good. Just the whole show was like all the underdogs, all the enhancements. All of a sudden, man, they were like 10 times as better as they ever were. That if most of these guys, I've seen them once or twice, and it's like, he wrestled in January, and then here it is, July, he makes his second appearance, and stuff like that. And the guys, the veterans, were making them look good, man. They weren't, they were not putting them over per se because they didn't go over and win, but making them look good, giving them, especially I would go back to Roche Chanel, who I thought was just a total joke character.
Mm-hmm.
Her match against Sheeta was really, really, really good. Some Marvel stuff that you just overheard, right?
Yeah, I heard some of it.
Let me check that out.
Go back, look at the notes.
Oh,
Start finding monster stats.
hold on. No, as far as wrestling goes, I could put it in anywhere, but since I have it right here, there's a guy named Mark Capani, and he played a character in WWE called Muhammad Hassan.
Mm-hmm.
Dude he only lasted 7 months, and they had to literally kill him to get him off of TV.
Right, Undertaker gave him the last ride through the
stage, and then like when the camera came up, he was laying sprawled out, and there was like blood coming from the back of his head. They legit had to kill this dude. He was so hated. It was a great character. Now, in an interview with Chris Van Vliet said he was like one of the greatest heels of all time, and Capani was like, no, and he said there's way more. He talked about Flair and a couple other guys but I don't. Chris Van Vliet's young, and so I think that he's looking at it through modern eyes, and in modern eyes, Muhammad Hassan was a great heel because what's a heel's job?
To get people to hate you.
And dude, his music would come on and people would get upset and start booing, and then they partnered him with the kid Sean Devari. So Capani as Muhammad Hassan would say whatever he has to say, and then they would have Sean Devari translated into Farsi. Mm-hmm. But not only did he translate it into Farsi, he had like this high, shrill voice that was like fingernails on chalkboards, dude. Mm-hmm. He was so annoying. But anyway, so Muhammad Hassan's interview, he was really good friends with Shad Gaspard, which I didn't know. And you guys know that Shad from Crime Time passed away at the end of May, really being a hero. Him and his son were both swept out in a rip curl or rip tide or something. And when the rescue people were coming towards him, he said, no, get my son first. And they were able to save his son, and then he got pulled under, and he was gone. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Shad Gaspard and JTG from Crime Time, Shad was friends with Mark Capani, mm-hmm. and over the years they stayed in touch. And Capani, once they killed him, he went into some depression, and then he had to figure out what else did he want to do. He actually went back to school, and he's got into education. Mm-hmm. He is a high school principal now down in LA. And then but he also wanted to direct and produce movies, and he was writing screenplays. Well, so what happened was that Shad Gaspard wrote a story, and Capani rewrote it, and they were trying to get it they shopped it around as a script for a movie, and it wouldn't go. But a couple of years later, somebody else picked it up, and now it's a graphic novel.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a way.
And it's called Assassin and Son, which they said it's based off of an old Japanese graphic novel, Bear and Cub or something like that. But to me, it sounded, with the information I got, it kind of sounded like Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks. But anyway, I think it's a worthwhile thing that I want you guys to know that you can go to scoutcomics.com and order the special edition. It's a silhouette of Shad and his son, which, man, that'll get you in the feels. Mm-hmm. But go to scoutcomics.com and look for Assassin and Son.
They're not a channel sponsor.
No. But I think it's worth it to send people there. I'm thinking about trying to get a copy myself. Did I say Marvel was next?
Yes. Maybe.
Okay, so under Marvel, there's been delays and pushbacks for releases. The only thing we know is for Disney Plus was that WandaVision was the only show that got filmed and completed before the lockdown. So it's still coming at the end of the year. Everything else, Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier has been pushed back. All the other stuff wasn't coming out till next year anyway. But we don't know when they're going to be able to finish it. But so what we just heard through wasn't through Everything Awesome. It was Wonder something. I don't know. It's
well, I
somebody
wonder
else's
what
channel,
their name
so.
is.
Yeah, some information was about Captain Marvel 2 is that Spider-Man and possibly Nova are going to make appearances, and also that Rogue could be in there as a villain, but the main villain is going to be the Super Skrull. They showed that comic book. I had that comic book. The Super Skrull, if you already know what the Skrull is, the Super Skrull was able to get the powers of the Fantastic Four. So he could stretch, he could throw fireballs, he could
solidify into rock,
turn invisible, and all that kind of thing. And Spider-Man teamed up with Captain Marvel to fight him. So some of the other information was that this Captain Marvel 2, we already seen the Skrulls pop up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. back a few seasons ago, and plus in Far From Home.
Yeah, and of course in Captain Marvel solo movie they played.
Right.
They were a huge role.
So looks like they're going to do the basis is going to be the storyline called Secret Invasion.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't know too much about.
Kinda. I thought it was that might be just another movie, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but
no,
that's a movie.
That's a different movie based on a book.
Point is the Skrulls invade Earth because they use their shape changing to take over different points of government and stuff.
Okay.
Other sci-fi movies do the same thing.
Yeah. And so that so Captain Marvel was going to have Spider-Man, and Rogue may come in at the end as a bad guy. But they explained that all this stuff has already been set up through the other movies. So, I don't know. The adaptations that they're doing, there's Secret Wars, Secret Invasion. It's just like the formation of the Illuminati. It's I like it when there's one or two other characters in the movie, right?
Right.
But when they start trying to cram like 10 people in it because they're weaving their way through this crazy story that is going to be the penultimate. So, we do like 22 movies to get to Endgame, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but you can't do it again. You can't do another 22 movies in 10 years to get to another climax of a story. I don't think so. I don't think it's a good idea. You can do the next arc. Maybe the main villain shows up, which it's not Kang the Conqueror. Who is it?
For
what they've been talking about for Phase 4?
Secret Wars? I do not remember.
But what I'm saying is you can't put 20 people in one movie and then do it that way, because you're only doing half the movies that you were doing before. I just think it's kind of just,
we'll see how it plays out. I mean, Civil War had a bunch of characters in it, and then, of course, Infinity War and Endgame had the most. But those served a purpose, and so did Civil War. But just to throw a bunch of them in because you don't want to put in the time?
Well, but no, it's like they're throwing a bunch of in because, we got to use this to set up that. We got to use those to set up this, and it's just like it's getting to be too much, I think.
We'll find out when we watch the movies.
Next topic is Mandalorian, episode 4.
Mandalorian episode 4. I don't have enough good things to say about it because I can't think of it. It's just so good. And this is the episode in which Mando and Baby Yoda, or the baby, whatever you want to call him.
The kid, as he calls him.
Yeah, this is their seeking refuge. Excuse me, that wasn't very loud. They find a planet. I forget the name of the planet, but it's like, this is the good place, and they land there, and then they find the ex-commando, but, there's like, we're going to leave because the planet's taken because of this commando. It's like...
which was... Do you remember what her name was?
Didn't you say Gina Carano?
Well, that's the star. Not Carano. She's not a virus.
I said Carano.
Gina Carano, who played in Deadpool.
Yeah.
This character she's familiar with Mondo. Mondo, I guess that's his nickname. Mando.
I don't remember what her name was.
But when they were fighting outside, she made reference to something that happened in their past, so they know each other somehow.
But for whatever reason, it's an entire planet, and he decides that they have to leave because she's in one spot. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but Mando is pulled into...
Well, because there's a settlement there.
Right. So he's pulled into helping this farm from... an invasion, and he goes in...
It was not a farm. It was a farming village. Bunch of people.
Yeah, okay. A bunch of people farming. Farmers. So he gets roped into helping...
farmers.
Yeah. He ropes into helping them, or gets roped into helping them, and then so he pulls the commando. I do not remember what her name is. He pulls her in to help. They're kind of reluctant at first, but they start training the villagers
how to fight.
Okay,
was those guys were they part of the Empire?
No, they were just raiders.
But they had like an Empire.
They found it
thing, whatever it was.
It was a walker, the AT-AT walker. Or no, it wasn't an AT-AT because those are bigger.
It was the one from. I think it was a variation of the one from Revenge or Return of the Jedi.
It was the one from that they used on the Endor.
Yeah. It's a modified version of that.
I think I don't know if they probably just found it because there's like all kinds of Empire junk all over. I think that was kind of the point, is they just happened to find this one. And so the raiders were using it to attack the village. Day is saved. All is well. Mando is thinking about leaving the kid in the village and flying away until another bounty hunter shows up and is about to kill the kid, as we see his sniper scope get lined up. And you hear the blast, but the ex-commando, I got to figure out what her name is, comes in for the save, killing the bounty hunter. Learning that Mando finds out that he's being tracked by the Bounty Hunter Guild, so he decides that they both have to leave so that he can protect the kid further. The one problem with the Mandalorian is they're like 30 minutes or something, like they're
between 30 and 40
minutes, and so they're never enough. It's like. And, the adventure ends, and you're like, cool. Right. And then the whole show ends, and you're like, I need the next episode.
Which you can binge. But to me, it's like it leaves you wanting more.
Oh, it definitely does.
So as far as we're doing is because we're releasing these podcasts, weekly. We're watching the episodes weekly, one at a time. And when season 2 drops, I am not going to binge it. I am going to spread it out because the problem is with binging is you watch it all in 1-2 days, then you got to wait another year.
Right, yeah.
And that sucks. So if you spread it out, it's not so bad. Mm-hmm. What is it, 8 episodes or 13? I think it's just 8.
I think it's 8, and we just finished episode 4.
So if the next season drops and there's 8 more episodes, you stretch it out for 8 weeks, and that's not so bad. That's like 2 months instead of watching it in a day.
Which I might still do, and then watch it weekly.
So then, Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on to our last topic. This might be a shorter episode than we've done before. Dynamite. Last week's Dynamite. Phenomenal.
One might say it was even Dynamite.
The first thing was the open challenge.
The open challenge
for the TNT network title, TV title. Cody didn't know who it was, and they brought in Eddie Kingston from NWA, which we alluded to earlier. And this dude, he's built like he's an everyday guy, and he's kind of built like Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
kind of a belly on him, but the dude can talk. Oh my gosh, this dude's stick work is amazing. He sounds like a New Yorker. He looks like a New Yorker. He looks like somebody that just like came out of the bad part of New York. And when he turned to Arn Anderson, he said something like, "I swear on my mother's eyes,
yeah,
I'll take you out, old man," or something like that. You believe him. You're like, "Oh crap, I'm scared of this dude. Cody better be scared too."
And he should have been, because he goaded him into a no disqualification match.
And there was, great work on that. The only thing is somewhere we'll have to rewatch it.
He hurt his leg.
Kingston hurt his knee. Legit hurt it. It wasn't a work. He legit hurt it, and you could tell. You could see the frustration on his face, like, damn it, I didn't want to do this. That means they had to change the ending, and him trying to work through the pain. Mm-hmm. And it does happen. The example I have is like 25 years ago, but I'm sure there's been other things since then. I just, off the top of my head, I can't think. But there was a group. First, what happened was Mick Foley was over in WCW and some other guys. And so Mick Foley came over first. He defected and he went to WWE. And then within about 2 weeks, they had a faction called the Radicals over in WCW. And it was Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, Chris Benoit, and this other guy, not Chris Candido. I can't remember the fourth guy, but the three of them left. They left him behind, and so the Radicals fell apart. And then they came over to, they were called the Revolution. Excuse me, they were called the Revolution. WWE repackaged them as the Radicals. But they attacked somebody's in a match, and they all did their signature moves. Benoit did the flying headbutt. Perry Saturn, he did a guillotine leg drop maybe. And then Eddie went to do the frog splash, and when he landed, he dislocated his elbow. And you could actually see the bone pop out. And it was his first night. It was his debut in front of,
everybody.
Thousands of people that were watching and the millions watching around the world. And yet you come out and you're trying to do your best work. You're trying to be intimidating, and boom. And so Eddie Kingston over here messing up his knee on his first match, and it was no bueno.
But he still got the power bomb.
And it was surprisingly that it was a hardcore match. And to that end, they brought out the tacks.
Yeah, and Cody took a power bomb onto the tacks.
Okay. Do you think that the tacks should have been part of the match?
I don't. I feel like I don't know what Cody's obsession of I'm going to take hits for the company is. I mean, so he gets a scar on it, a permanent scar on his forehead
from Sean Spears.
From Sean Spears.
I think
it was that or MJF. It was one of those two.
Oh, it was MJF, and Sean Spears whacked him in the back
of the head with a steel chair, and then he let MJF again whip him with his own belt, like legit lashes. Wardlow even threw in a big hit on him. And then of course, Eddie Kingston, took Cody's weight belt and hit him a couple times with it, and then power bombed him onto the tacks.
I've mentioned this guy's name before. He's a freaking legend in the business. This guy named Jim Cornette. He's not a fan. He loved the match, but he was not a fan of the tacks. And he, in his opinion, all the work they did went down the toilet because the tacks are a cheap tactic, a cheap
Tack.
Yeah, exactly. And that they lessened the severity of the match.
I disagree with that.
Yeah, I do too, because this was hardcore, and staples of hardcore are tacks, barbed wire,
Jimmy
fire.
Jimmy Havoc with his
Stapler
gun.
Yeah. So it was a hardcore match. So bring out the hardcore, legendary stuff, the tacks. And I thought he was going to end up doing it because he's the heel. And he convinced, backstage, they convinced Cody to do it. Man, and that looked bad. I mean, somebody else did tacks. It was Jericho, but over back in WWE just a couple of years ago. And
Mick
he just
Foley
got like
would always do it.
one or two. He just had like one or two. Cody's back was riddled with tacks. And and remember, he walked
through it, so he had
so he had them all stuck in his shoes.
Yeah, all stuck in his boots.
And what a match! And what did he win with? Did he roll him up?
Figure four.
Figure four.
Because of the knee was hurt.
Yeah. So Eddie Kingston's debut was on the money. It's a shame that they had to rush the end because his knee was legit hurt, but. Then I saw a Fallout interview. Don't think he's under contract. When he came out in his promo, he said, Tony Khan paid me to be here, and now he's going to pay me to kick your ass, which was a great line. Yeah. But I don't think he's under contract yet.
Well, his little thing, his name card did say making his AEW debut.
Yeah, so I hope they keep him, which will be really interesting because then... all of LAX will be there. The last iteration of LAX was Santina
Marella,
Santana and Ortiz, and Eddie Kingston and Diamante. And they're all there now in AEW, which is kind of cool. I mean, they could reform the faction if they wanted to down the road a little bit.
And they split the inner circle.
Yeah, I think that's coming anyway. Let me see. How about MJF against Griff Garrison?
That one felt a little cheap. That one felt cheaper than the tax. Griff made a good point that technically MJF lost because he lost in a tag team.
Yeah, when he talked about MJF was bragging about being undefeated.
So he just like wailed on him, and Aubrey Edwards rang the bell, and then he kicked his ass, and then he went and got a mic. MJF did. And was like, forced the guy to say that he's undefeated. And I was like...
What do you think about him calling Griff Garrison Jungle Man?
Yeah, instead of...
like he's a grown-up version of
Jungle Boy.
Of Jack Perry.
Yeah.
And he when he said that, I went, oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he kind of does look like...
He kind of does with the hair and stuff.
Yeah, he kind of looks like Jungle Boy. But I don't know. I felt that one was just a little cheap. It wasn't even a squash match because all he did was like beat him down and then force him to say something.
Oh, and then
he beat him.
He did that move, the Heat Seeker.
Yeah.
Which was it was the pile driver between the second and third rope. Mm-hmm. That was it. That was a damn good move.
Right.
I don't know where that came from.
There was one thing that I was hoping, because they've been showing Wardlow and MJF kind of fracturing. I was hoping that when Griff told him, well, technically you lost in that tag match, I thought MJF was going to say, well, actually, Wardlow's
fault.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and that is coming. They're teasing it, and Wardlow's going to break away from MJF. But does that mean Wardlow's going to be a babyface?
No, I think he'll just be a heel, but he just doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to take
He just is not
MJF's
associated
crap.
with
Yeah.
MJF. Oh, so then came Taz's announcement. Well, he didn't really announce it, but Taz's surprise is that not only does he have Brian Cage, but he added Ricky Starks to a faction. I'm guessing, I don't even know, I haven't checked Twitter or anything else, but I'm guessing they're going to call this faction WTF.
That probably.
That's kind of obvious.
And as Brian Cage with the WTF title? No,
Yeah.
that's the wrong one. FTW title.
Or that's, sorry, yeah, they're going to call it FTW.
Yeah.
That's the faction's name. Ricky Starks, like I said, that dude's a star, man, and he's bigger than he looks. But he came out and attacked Darby Allin from behind and messed him up, from what I heard the next day, is that when he came out and just like mowed over Darby and like boom, forearm to the back, that Darby's head hit the top of the middle rope and bounced off, that he got a concussion. And they don't know if he's going to be cleared to wrestle. They're going to have, I think he's supposed to be in action next week.
Oh, let's hope.
But yeah, so Taz, Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks as FTW. You know, there's always room for another faction, but it's another heel faction.
Yeah, that is my big complaint. Is I like that they're big on tag team wrestling, but can we get some more face tag teams, please?
In face factions, there's no well. Supposedly, the Elite is a babyface faction, and so is the Nightmare Family.
Yeah,
but there's all kinds of weird turmoil going on.
Right, and it looks like Kenny Omega is going to turn heel. So
yeah, that was awesome, though. That was it's
cool.
A shocker. That was a total shocker.
But that's going to be another heel team.
Yeah, and then we had the announcement of the Deadly Draw, the women's tag tournament, that's coming in August.
I hope they put Sheeta and Statlander together.
Well, it's interesting. It sounds like they're gonna. Well, of course, it's written backstage, but they're gonna random draw. That's what's called the Deadly Draw, because two people are gonna draw, or somebody's gonna draw a name, and they're gonna be partnered with somebody else. It could be a heel and a baby face. It could be two faces, two heels. So that's an interesting prospect. I like that idea, and that's got to be the reason why on Dark the Enhancements girls all of a sudden could freaking wrestle, because they're going to use them. Because remember, the quarantine should be over now. The quarantine period should be over for Statlander. But I forgot who else. But like the top four out of the five contenders have been under quarantine. So anyway, the announcement of the women's tournament, good. They're so deep with talent in the tag division that that's taken care of. Now let's focus on the women's, which they did say they were going to do. Just thought maybe they'd get to it sooner, but it looks like now they're going to do it with this tournament. It's going to change everything. Plus the addition of Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah, Vicky back there helping them out.
That's going to be good. After that, this was Butcher and Blade and the Young Bucks. Falls Count Anywhere.
That was. The beginning was poor because they wasted delicious steaks.
But they were started out as they were in the
kitchen.
They're at an arena, a football arena. So there's concessions. There's catering, there's this, there's that, and there's actually a kitchen where they prepare food. And of course, Butcher and Blade are supposed to be butchers, so they're at a table cutting up steaks, cutting up meat, which was hilarious. Yeah. And then like Matt Jackson started throwing it later on, but
such a waste.
They started the fight in the kitchen
and ended in the.
And then they went out into the concessions, and then they went out into the. Promenade, I guess is what you might call it, or I guess that's what you would call it. The outside area.
That was a really good match, a really fun match too.
It's like they can't get away from these kind of matches, but it's still fun because they didn't have the golf cart, but they had that 4-way cart.
Oh yeah.
And Blade gets on it like this, and then Butcher was like pushing it and went right into the column. That was funny as hell.
Yeah, that's all kinds of good stuff. I forget which Jackson brother it was, but super kicked Blade onto the upward escalator.
Oh yeah,
and he was just knocked out riding the escalator. That's hilarious.
They're the only tag team that can kick somebody up.
Yeah.
instead of down.
Yeah, right.
That was awesome. And then they moved back, and then they moved out into the
arena,
to the match or the ring area.
Right.
Is what it said. And there was some cool stuff going on there, but there was also a bad botch. And
oh my gosh, yeah.
Blade went over the he was in the ring and he went to do whatever he was going to do, and he flipped. He did a somersault, and they had a table. They had a gimmick table, and he missed it, and he missed.
He missed either of the Young Bucks.
He missed whoever he was trying to go, and when he landed right next to the table. So his butt hit the cement, his head hit the cement, and one of his arms hit the guardrail.
Yeah.
Whoa, man! He got jacked up.
Yeah, in that instance, that was incredibly painful, and that was horrible to
That
watch.
is a botch. There's no way about it, but it wasn't. When people say botchamania, and so I was like, oh, these guys can't do their jobs right. You think Batista,
yeah,
the Batista botch comes to mind. This was a botch, but
it was the worst kind.
It made you feel.
It's not the one that makes you laugh when you're like, oh,
this was like, damn.
Yeah,
hope he's all right. And then later at the end, when they had they had Butcher and Blade on the tables, and both the Jackson brothers went up to the lighting rig or whatever it was, and I think it was Matt Jackson was smart. He just did a flying elbow.
Yeah, he just did an elbow drop.
But Nick Jackson did a swanton, and I heard they both got hurt doing that. And so you got Blade got messed up. The Young Bucks got messed up. Eddie Kingston got messed up. Yeah. Darby Allin got messed up. I mean,
that's 5 injured people.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, then the next was the women's match of the night was Diamante and Ivelisse.
Right, which to me, I was looking at them. They had similar ring gear, actually the same ring gear, just different colors. They had same kind of background.
They both had bandanas too, red and blue. Bloods and Crips.
Actually, was her? Yeah, maybe it was blue. And they both came to the ring holding flags. I think
of their countries.
Countries, yeah. And I was like, these are literally just the same.
But Ivelisse is French, and she was. I just forgot about this. She's an independent wrestler. She's been around for a long time, at least 10 years. And I remember her back in the day in Impact, and then later that was during the real women's revolution from 2008 to 2010. I will call that the real women's revolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But she was there, and but then later they brought her out, and she joined Aces and Eights. Because first they had Brooke Hogan as Bully Ray's girlfriend, but they pulled a Rusev Atlanta and showed Brooke Hogan was on Instagram kissing her real life boyfriend. So they dumped her out, and then they brought in the real Brooke, which was Brooke Tessmacher, and she replaced Brooke Hogan. And then later on, something happened to her, and they brought in Ivelisse, and she was just there for just a little bit. And so Ivelisse has been around. She's a hell of a good worker. I know she's wrestled other promotions. And Diamante is somebody that first time I saw her come out with LAX, I'm like, oh, this chick's gonna be huge. She's gonna be dangerous. And she stayed on a level, a plane, I guess. She never went down and she never went up. She just kind of stayed steady. But since coming to AEW, she's really been showing that she can go and that she's a good worker. And she's been wearing her LAX ring gear this entire time, with LAX on one side and her name on the other. But that was a hell of a match too. And then I don't know, I know Tony Khan's writing it, but I think he forgets things. And the thing that he forgot to tell us was that Sheeta issued an open challenge. And the way it works with Cody is somebody signs a contract for the night and goes out and fights him. This is, for some reason, Ivelisse and Diamante wrestled to see who was going to go after Sheeta for the open challenge for the title. So that don't make any sense.
That don't make no sense.
But it was Diamante that won the match which is weird because it was a good long match, like I think maybe 7 to 10 minutes, and neither one of them was getting the upper hand. And then all of a sudden, Diamante did a roll up and boom, took the match. But it was good, and then so we're going to get Diamante against Sheeta next week.
That should be interesting. I still want Sheeta to win, but that should be interesting.
And then was it the last match, or do I have it?
Yeah, I think the main event was...
okay, so it was Hangman Adam Page against 5 from the Dark Order.
Oh, that wasn't the main event.
Yeah?
No, because right after that is with is when the dude gets jumped in the ring and the other person is revealed.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. So...
Oh, no, actually, it might be. And then those two segments just happen together.
But, okay, so Hangman Adam Page against 5
from the Dark Order.
From the Dark Order, which is Allen Angels. Good match. It wasn't a squash. Allen Angels. But it was weird because Allen Angels could hang with the Hangman. But it seemed like he couldn't get going until the rest of the Dark Order came out.
Yeah.
10, Uno.
Grayson.
This is like 1 through 6, whatever it is, without 5. But once they all came out, it's like he fed off of them standing there looking intimidating. So I don't know if you say energy or not. But all of a sudden he started making better. He had a better offense against Page,
which is good storytelling.
Yeah, it was by himself, which is the thing. By yourself, you're going to lose, but with the Dark Order, you're going to win. You're going to be better, and so all of a sudden, Eddie Angels had some
Allen Angels.
He had some I don't know. He was able to fare better until ultimately losing. And then the other thing that was cool was that's when Mr. Brody Lee came out
with Colt Cabana.
And Colt Cabana had his new Dark Order shirt going on.
Yeah, that I want.
And that was awesome. And then, but then he got in the ring and he got the mic and he pointed out, which was awesome. It didn't even occur to me. He said, "You're out here by yourself with no backup, no tag team partner to save you when you're obviously in danger because here's like 6 dudes on the ramp."
And then I like that he told me, he was like, we're not out here to hurt you, but if we were, you have no friends right now.
Yeah, you have. Where's all your buddies? And
then he
asked him to join the Dark Order straight up, and Page said no. He refused, and then that pissed Brody Lee off, and he said, "Well, now you've made your bed, and I'm looking forward to putting you to sleep in it." Right.
And then he took Colt Cabana away while the rest of the Dark Order went to go put him down.
Yeah, and then it wasn't Kenny Omega,
the Young Bucks,
and it wasn't the Young Bucks, but it was FTR that came out to save Page, to vanquish the Dark Order. And then
Omega did show up.
But he was late.
Oh, he was so late.
He was, big time. And so, dissension on that tag team Plus, Omega's going to turn heel. I mean, there's so much going
It's
on.
such a layered story.
The storyline, the storytelling. If Tony Khan's writing it, holy schmackerels, give that dude $1 because he is writing such good layered storytelling, such good stuff, and I can't believe it. It's just awesome. And then the match was Jurassic Express.
Yes, that's right. That's what it was.
Jurassic Express, but only
It was Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
Marco Stunt was just on the outside against Jericho and Hager.
Which was really, really good because we got to see Hager and Luchasaurus go at it again.
Big boys. I love when those big boys go together like that. That shit's awesome.
And it was good. It was looking, or did they pick up the win? Jurassic Express.
I think Express won.
I think they won, and they got a beat down after the match.
I think that's the whole thing. We don't even remember who won, but it's because of what happened afterwards. And the match itself was good.
The match itself was good, and I think they got the victory. I want to say Jurassic Express beat the Inner Circle. Well, it beat Jericho and Hager, and then there was a beatdown afterwards.
Yeah, and the whole Inner Circle came out. Right?
And then, and then at a certain point,
there's a masked wrestler called Serpentico who's been on Dark. I think I've seen him 2 to 3 matches now, and he's also one of the heels that hangs out down in the
audience
in the ringside area. And that Serpentico was there the entire time.
Yeah, the whole show.
Through all the matches. But when he jumped in and he started helping the Inner Circle beat down on
Luchasaurus,
it was like they didn't know what to think until he pulled off his mask and revealed itself to be
Sammy Guevara.
Sammy Guevara is back.
He's back, and now he's going to be able to help the Inner Circle kind of get back to where it was. Hopefully.
But then look at Matt Hardy's storyline that he started, but then they had to drop it.
Right.
But now maybe they can get back to it. Is that Hardy's trying to get him away from the Inner Circle?
Well, Jericho specifically, yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how. There's so much going on.
Yeah.
That is like the best wrestling on TV right now.
Mm-hmm. So many stories done through promo work and wrestling.
Yeah. And some of the work that they're doing, I'll go back and say that on Dark, Allie and Brandy Rhodes formed the Nightmare Sisters, and so this week's vignette was that Dustin was training him on the football field, and he was running him through physical training, not like bumps and stuff, but like push-ups and running in place and doing all this stuff. And then it wasn't Dasha, it was another reporter that they have, came out to interview them, to stop them for a second and talk to them. And then when they were done, Allie said, "Okay, we're done, goodbye." And then Brandy said, she doesn't mean to be rough or whatever, but yeah, this interview is finished. And then Allie goes, "Yes, it's finished." So good. And they just all of a sudden they started arguing. No, it was Dasha Gonzalez, because they were just like arguing back and forth. And then Dustin looks at Dasha and he goes, "Come on, let's go get a drink." And he walks off with her, and he just leaves Allie and Brandy there fighting each other, arguing. So that's going to be interesting. In the Deadly Draw, I don't think they'll be a part of it because they're already a team.
Right, but they might be part of the tournament.
But do they? Well, yeah, they'll be in the tournament, I'm saying, but they won't. There won't be a draw. They're a team already. Where are they going to go with this one? It's interesting because we know it will be such a ripoff if it doesn't happen. That Allie left Butcher and Blade and started going after QT Marshall to get inside the Nightmare family so that she can tear it up.
Mm-hmm. Because they were Butcher, Blade, and she was called Bunny.
Yeah, and she said, she was the spokesperson, specifically that they were there to take out the Nightmare family and take out Cody.
Mm-hmm.
So, long-term story, she's pretending to like QT Marshall to worm her way into the Nightmare family.
Mm-hmm. And start breaking them up.
Yeah, so that has got to be the end game. But her and Brandy is like this other storyline they started, and I don't know how that's going to work.
It's going to be interesting. I can't wait for it to play out.
And it's cool is that it plays out over time. It's not every week, here's a new story, and this we dropped this angle, and here's this now. This is all long-term planning, just like they're talking about the rumored of the new Horsemen of FTR, Sean Spears, and Cody.
Right.
With Tully and Arn as their like co-captains or leaders or whatever. That's going to be insane. But we don't know if they're going to do it yet. They're hinting at it, which is really good. Their character work storytelling is just awesome.
And so that was the show, which was good. But then I had an interesting idea while you were watching I don't know who you were watching. It was the two people talking about AEW before the episode had premiered.
Those some podcaster guys.
Yeah, which is I hope people talk about us that way too. There's some podcaster guys. Anyways, he started to talk about Jon Moxley, but there was just enough pause between him saying John and Moxley for my brain to fill in a certain name. So I want to set up a scene for some fantasy booking, if you will. It's 2021. Let's call it January 2021. Fans are back in the arena because this person honestly deserves a crowd reaction. And Cody's in the ring. It is an open challenge. Very important that Cody has not been defeated for the... oh my God, you're bald.
Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah. Cody has not been defeated in these open challenges. He's still TNT champion. This is very, very important. So he's sitting out there, or standing, whatever, leaning up against a ring post, whatever.
Waiting for his...
but he's being...
the announcement of his...
opponent. But he's also being cocky and arrogant because he's undefeated. So he kind of cuts a promo similar to...
MJF?
Yeah, in the vein of like... it doesn't matter who comes out from that tunnel.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who comes out from behind that curtain because I've beaten every man in that locker room and I've beaten people from other promotions, blah, blah, blah. Continues like, so it doesn't matter. Come out if you're man enough and accept my challenge. And he just kind of tosses the mic and sits.
And waits.
And then you're like, oh, maybe nobody's coming. And then you hear... the music. You hear, and John Cena comes out. John Cena comes down to the ring. He has a mic, and he's like, I'm man enough. I accept your challenge. Gets in the ring and puts boots to asses on Cody. Just absolutely runs over Cody. Maybe Cody gets in one or two good shots, but John Cena just wrecks him.
How about he takes a crossroads and turns it into an FU.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah.
Because it'll go revert back to being called the FU.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the AA anymore. And the crowd would lose it. The sound would be deafening once his music hit. Oh my gosh. It would be intense. And then, so Cena wins. He's the TNT champion. Now... he goes on a tear through the locker room, and he works his way up to being ranked number 1 to face Jon Moxley, champion versus champion at Double or Nothing. That way Mox holds on to the belt for a year.
Or is it, is it a winner take all where somebody's going to be 2 belts?
Yeah, why not? Why not? Because it's fantasy booking, and that sounds like fun. And so it's TNT champion John Cena versus AEW World Heavyweight Champion Jon Moxley at Double or Nothing. That way Mox holds on to the belt for a year. That's what I would love to see that.
And he did tell me this a couple of days ago, and then we were sitting there going, well, who else could Cena face if he got signed to the roster? So what we did was we made a list of our top 5 opponents if Cena were to sign with AEW.
Okay.
Now, don't get it twisted. We're not saying that Cena's coming, but his movies are his movies, and he's not doing anything, and he may get the itch to wrestle again. And so it's like, well, he could go back to Vince and have to revert to the same clothes, his Fruity Pebble shirts, his, the same old stuff. Crap.
Or he could try something new.
Could try something new and get signed to AEW and come out. And so we're sitting there thinking, this was like after dinner.
Yeah, this was a while. We were
just a couple nights ago after dinner. We were sitting there going, We're naming off everybody on the roster that we could think of, because really he could have a good match with anybody. And then you came up with the idea of having your top five. So do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So these aren't ranked like I definitely number 5 is like I can deal with it, and 1 I definitely want to see it.
It's not like that.
It's not ranked. It's just
random.
It's just kind of narrowing it down. Also, it was very hard to narrow it down to 5. I could have done like 10.
Or 20.
I could have just said the whole AEW roster. So in no particular order, I'll start with number 5, Colt Cabana. I think John Cena and Colt Cabana, I think everybody on this list with John Cena would be great, but I want to see their styles clash. So I would like to see Colt Cabana against Cena. I'd like to see...
Okay, wait, that's your number 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll switch off.
Oh, okay.
So my number 5 is Moxley. It doesn't even have to be for the belt. It doesn't. Mm-hmm. It could just be for shits and giggles, because that's going to be a barn burner, or as JR would say, a slobber knocker.
Yeah.
That's going to be a crazy one. Okay, your number 4?
My number 4, I have Darby Allin. Because why not? Help the younger guy, but also... when I think of Darby Allin now, I think of him taking on the Inner Circle by himself after Moxley got beat up, hot tagging himself in, and actually doing some damage. That's what I think of now.
And he's also, right now he's feuding with Brian Cage. There was a thing that Cornette said on his podcast the other day, was that all the big guys are getting beat by every midget in town. Mm-hmm. Referring to Marco Stunt, and I don't know who else, because there's nobody else his size. But Darby Allin is a smaller guy, but he's not a weak guy.
No, definitely not.
And speaking of that, Guevara is a little guy, but damn, that dude's strong. Mm-hmm. He's like gorilla pressing bigger 250-pound dudes.
He's doing inverted holding people in the inverted suplex for a while.
But so anyway, as far as Darby Allin going, I think it's believable that he could take on somebody the size of Cena, because Cena is like rock size, man. He's huge. So I wouldn't mind that. My number 4 is Brian Cage. Two big dudes.
Yeah,
I love it. I love that kind of shit, man.
I think
two big dudes going at it.
At least before I refined my list, we both had Brian Cage on there. I just realized I have this 1, 2, 4, 5. So
no 3?
No 3. That's okay.
So who's your number 3?
It's a mystery. Number 3, I'll go ahead and say Sammy Guevara. He was going to be in the honorable mentions anyways, but Sammy Guevara definitely, like we were saying, he's deceptively strong. But also, he's just the kind of personality I want to see take on Cena, and I think he can. I don't think he could win over Cena, but I think it would be a great match to watch.
I'm gonna go with my penciled in slot was a special. Why not have a 2-on-1 match, and have Cena take on Evil Uno and Stu Grayson of the Dark Order? That would be fun. Oh, yeah. Shenanigans, the whole Dark Order interferes at the end.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Your number 2?
My number 2, I threw in for a wild card because it's a wild card just because his wrestling style is a little different, but it's still entertaining. I put in Sonny Kiss, the Concrete Rose, to take on John Cena.
That'd be cool.
Again, I don't think Sonny Kiss could go over Cena, but it would still be a really, really good match. and it would be highly entertaining.
Who did he just damn near go over?
He almost beat Cody.
Cody, yeah. Oh man, that was a great.
He was close, and he even hit Cody with a crossroads.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Okay, since you started, your number 2 should be.
And then my number 2 was Sunny Kiss. So who's your number 2?
My number 2 is MJF.
Yeah.
Why without Wardlow or with Wardlow? I don't care. MJF, the best heel in the business right now, and he would cut some cool promos on Cena. You can hear him in your head. He would be just making fun of his past or his movies or whatever, and then
Cena could come out and rap on him and just hit him too.
Oh yeah, that's one thing is we thought that Cena should come back out as the Doctor of Thuganomics character with his bike chain with the padlock on it and his throwback jersey,
Word Life
hat and all that.
Oh yeah.
Who's your number 1?
My number 1 shouldn't surprise anybody. It's Lance Archer. I don't really need to say anymore.
But could he do to Cena what he did to
that guy where he just picked him up
faceless
and
dude
tossed him into the roof?
He was like
into
the ceiling
try.
tiles.
He could try, and I want to see Cena be up there for I forget what he calls it. His finisher. Blackout. I want to see Cena up there and somehow scramble out of it and turn it into an FU. I don't know how, but Cena could figure it out.
My number 1 is Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega, yeah, that makes sense.
One of the best wrestlers going today, right now. And he's going to turn heel, so what the hell? Why not go against Cena?
Right.
That would be awesome. You imagine Cena taking a V-trigger?
Oh, my gosh, dude. Yeah.
Or a Snapdragon suplex.
Oh, if he could get that on Cena, damn.
Oh, my goodness.
And again, like we said, that's not in any. These aren't ranked. These are just like.
This is just something that we did for fun.
We really want to see. But in my opinion, when Cena debuts, and of course we both agree that he debuts on the Open Challenge and just runs right through Cody, and then I think John Cena becomes what Brian Cage and Lance Archer were supposed to be, these undefeatable giants, and what. And I'm not saying, so I'm saying, once he's ranked number 1, right, again, fantasy booking, and he goes against Moxley, that could go either way for me. Mm-hmm. I don't, Cena goes over Moxley, cool, he's AEW champion. Moxley goes over Cena, and now he's the TNT champion. Either one would be
He's Moxley
great.
2 belts.
Yeah, my wallet will be thrown at Tony Khan either way.
Before we make our announcements that we wanted to tell you about, although I'm not watching WWE programming right now because I think it sucks, there's been some interesting developments that almost have me going back to watching it. One is the formation of the Hurt Business, which is MVP and Bobby Lashley and possibly Apollo Crews. A cool faction. MVP, he was like retired. And then they bring him back as to do his MVP lounge or VIP lounge, and that was just to get beat up by Drew McIntyre and whoever else. And then all of a sudden he's like the hottest dude they got, and he forms the Hurt Business with Lashley to help, and he's helping get Lashley over because they're going to drop the whole Lashley and Lana storyline. He's already told her he wants a divorce. And then she hasn't been seen since they started the Hurt Business, and that I know of. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not watching it currently. And then they came out with Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, and who was the other one? I forgot.
I don't know. We'd probably know if we were watching wrestling.
Yeah, if we're watching WWE.
Oh, yeah, true. If we were watching WWE.
Cedric Alexander.
It's not
Ricochet. Oh, it's Ricochet.
Ricochet, that's right.
It's Ricochet. And they're supposedly going to be the Nation of Domination 2.0.
Called it.
And Ron Simmons showed up, but he didn't say, damn! He just showed up and talked a little bit. So I think he'll revert to being the character of Farouk, which is their spiritual guidance leader or something, and that'll be the stable, and they're going to feud with the Hurt Business. That's kind of interesting. I don't know, because the Nation of Domination had the Godfather, D'Lo Brown, The Rock when he was Rocky Maivia. They ended up having like 6 or 7 guys, maybe 8 guys in it at one point. Some came in and some left, and all that kind of thing, which happens with factions. And then the other development is that Xavier Woods has been out for over a year.
Something like that.
It seems like that he's been out for over a year with whatever surgery he had to get that he's rehabbing. And when they show him, he's always at home. I haven't heard if he's going to any. Depending on where he lives, if the gyms are open or closed. But I haven't heard about him working out or rehabbing and getting ready to come back from his injury. But Kofi Kingston's claimed that he got some kind of injury, but that him and X talked about it. They told Big E if he wants to go for any kind of singles glory, to go ahead and do it. I want to see Big E and AJ Styles.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be awesome. What is he?
He's the
U.S. title?
No, Intercontinental
title. I'd love to see Big E take that strap from AJ. That'd be awesome. So they've got a couple of storylines in there. A couple of other storylines not really floating my boat that I heard about was Naomi and Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans came out as a heel, but then because that one match her daughter was there, they had to turn her babyface, and then they started going on her military background, how she's a U.S. hero because she was a Marine, and she's a real American hero like someone we know.
Yeah,
I am a real American.
Yeah, I picked up what you were putting down.
Lacey Evans became this babyface, and it didn't really do anything. And then so now she's come out with, she lost the karaoke challenge to Naomi,
and so that
now they're turned her heel, and now they're feuding. I agree. The hashtag Naomi deserves better. Also, Heel Bailey. I love Heel Bailey. I love Heel Bailey, and that story is a long-term story, which is really going good. We're always talking about AEW's long-term storytelling being awesome, but this one with Bailey and Sasha eventually going to break up because something's going to happen. That's good, and I love Heel Bailey. Real quick, that's WWE. I'm going to talk about a couple of things, notes that I got about Impact Wrestling, which going to figure into our announcements. That there's this girl named what the hell's her name? Taja Ray, something like that, and she's like really bubbly. She's like the fangirl version of Face Bailey, and now she's number one contender for Deonna Purrazzo's Knockouts Championship. Anyway, announcements, and
so we're looking to expand this channel to
expanding Eric Wolf Productions.
That's right. So we're going to be we are looking into it. We're each going to have a couple of our own solo stuff, and then we would still come back together to
do the Eric Wolf podcast.
Yeah, to do this podcast weekly on Sundays probably. We might change the schedule around. I don't know yet. What I would like to do is have videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Something like that. So I'm looking at doing 2 other videos, and then you were looking at doing your 2 other videos. So maybe we'll do.
But we also want to welcome an inclusion to the Eric Wolf Productions family, and the name of this show.
Well, I don't know if he's done that yet, so maybe we'll wait for that.
No, but we can tell. I mean, he's going to do it. So,
well, is he? I don't know.
We talked about our friend Timothy Long, who does blacksmithing stuff. But if you just put in his name, you're going to get like 100 different dudes with that name. So to help narrow it down, you came up with a list of names.
Yeah.
And the one that I liked actually was the one that he liked and picked. And so
He Who Smelt It.
He Who Smelt It with Timothy Long is going to be part of the Eric Wolf Productions family.
Yeah. So
And you see his cool videos, which he edits himself, adds his own music, and he's really good at it. And he's doing some cool blacksmithing work. What did he make for you?
he's supposed to be making me a knife, and I actually need
Out of a bike frame.
that I need to go talk to him about now, actually, because I don't have my knife yet. But anyways, so
And then
we'll be acquiring him, but his thing will still be his own.
it's his own content. It's just it'll be linked to our channel,
Yeah.
and we love that name.
So then my expansion, I will be doing two different.
You had names for him, right?
I have working names. I'm still trying to get everything settled. So I was probably going to do, my first one will be Nostalgia Wolf Gaming, in which I will be playing some old game series that I've never actually played. I know of them. I've just never played them before.
But they're old games that everybody's played by now, like Final Fantasy or something.
Yeah, most people have played them. So that will be one. The other one will be, again, I'm still working on this, but I think like Noir Wolf or Wolf Noir, something like that. I'll be watching old noir films and just kind of giving my thoughts. Basically, a very condensed version of this podcast, but just specifically on noir films.
My spin-offs are going to be, one is, I already confirmed the title, is The Other Guys with Daddy-O. And I'm going to talk about other wrestling promotions that aren't getting enough love. MLW, Reality of Wrestling, which is Booker T's promotion, Ring of Honor, don't see too much of one. But I am really interested in covering Impact, because they just got an infusion of talent that's unbelievable. And their roster was already getting better. Some of the people that they had on there, Jordan Grace, The North, Eddie Edwards, they were Moose, turned into a really good, stupid name, but he's still a great character. Some great guys over there, and they shook out some of the guys that they had, like Follow Ball and these other dudes, and kept the ones that matter. It's run by Don Callis and Scotty D'Amore. Scotty D'Amore was an on-screen guy, but he's also talent relations. He formed Team Canada way back when, and Don Callis is a promoter and an owner, and he owns the company now. And he's really good. He's a really good friends with Jericho. Jericho was like a hair away from signing with Impact when he went to AEW, and so Don Callis doesn't hold any grudges against him. I don't like Josh Matthews as an announcer. He was in Tough Enough on WWE. I can't stand him as an announcer. He's just he's worse than Michael Cole, if you can believe that. But anyway, their roster, and so what happened was Black Wednesday happened in April, where all those guys from WWE got let go, and freaking Impact scooped up a whole bunch. They're now known officially as the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Machine Gun Carl Anderson. They picked up Eric Young, who's World Class Maniac Eric Young, not Super Eric. They had already picked up Deonna Purrazzo prior, and they had picked up who is it?
They did get EC3 back.
Yeah, they got EC3 back, and then it's not Sean Alexander, it's the other guy. Oh, Cedric, what's his face?
Cedric Alexander.
Okay. Anyway, he was already with them, but he came back off the injured list. Heath Slater, who's now just Heath. I had a last name, but I can't use it. He's trying to get back with Rhino. They've got they've got the world's most dangerous man. What else is his name? Frank something.
Sinatra?
No, he's the MMA guy. Shamrock. Oh, it's Ken Shamrock.
Oh, okay.
They've got Ken Shamrock. He's like between 55 and 60, and he's got the really thick glasses on. But damn, that dude's in shape, and he can still go. They've just got a hell of a talent roster going on over there. So there's really cool stuff going on that I want to start covering. So for sure, Impact. I think Major League Wrestling, Reality of Wrestling, Ring of Honor, maybe New Japan, and then maybe a couple of other women's divisions. And that's going to be my show, and it's going to be called The Other Guys, because there's more than just the two promotions that we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And then my second one is going to be music related. I'm still working on that. It's going to be kind of a music appreciation of maybe a certain album or a certain song or something like that. And I'll figure that one out later. But these all shows that are going to be coming soon, and sooner rather than later, because you could be on a time constriction.
Yeah, so these, for sure that we want to produce these and get these out. But there's just a situation going on right now where one of two things are going to happen. One, I'm going to move out at the end of August, and I'll be in my own apartment, and I have to get things settled and worked into there and get the wolf den set up, and then I can start start all of that, or I'm not going to move. So, and then I'm just here, and then we can start. We can move on to things.
I've already seen some reality of wrestling stuff posted. Now, see what happens is, but I knew that Booker T had a promotion, and I found out what it was called, and I've seen stuff posted like from within the last 2 years. But now I'm just starting to get caught up on stuff that's going on currently. Mm-hmm. So I might be able to start this new wrestling show in a couple of weeks once I get situated with who I'm going to watch. I'm going to figure out what promotions that I want to cover, to give love to, and then I'll be ready to start that. So
at the latest, a month from now.
At least within a month.
Yeah, some stuff might be a little earlier, but
yeah.
We'll go ahead and we'll get back to you. We'll keep announcements on our social media.
That's another thing, is check out our social media. We posted our first TikTok video today.
Yeah, so you can follow our TikTok, Instagram, Twitter,
and
this YouTube channel.
You need to. Have you tweeted?
Yeah, I've tweeted a couple. I've only tweeted that our videos are up, though. I don't have much to say.
Yeah, so we'll do that. So we may add another social media. Who knows? We do. Do we have a Facebook channel?
We do. It is. I think it's just still under Eric Wolf. I haven't added the production's name to it yet, just because I'm not getting a whole lot of traffic through that, and it's just a weird.
But that's because we need you.
Yeah.
Also, help us out.
Also, it's a really weird thing to run a page, and yeah, I don't know. I don't like.
And then I'm also been talking about. I've been hyping up the episodes on my timeline on my personal page. If you go to Dale Edmondson Jr. and find me on Facebook, be my friend. You can you'll be caught up, or you'll be apprised of future podcast episodes, and I especially post the verses there, which we also got to post on Instagram. And once you've done that, and you like, share, subscribe, and enable your notifications for the YouTube channel, you can be a part of the show. If you comment, you can disagree with what we talk about, or you can agree with it, or whatever you want to do. Just make sure that you comment so that we can give you a shout out on the next episode. We've got 26 subscribers, and we have no idea who they are.
We know some of them.
One or two.
We know a few of them. But anyways.
But get involved, and we really want you to help to howl with us.
Exactly. And speaking of that, I'm Wolf.
I'm El Papa. Oh, shout out to Dale's Guitars.
Cool. Also not a channel sponsor.
Oh, and Chris, Dale's son. Happy birthday, dude.
Oh, but anyways, we look forward to howling with you again next time.